Oh, hi, this is Lisa Swank, and somebody had made a comment on one of my videos that, they like to clean their stamps right after they use them, otherwise the paint stays stuck on there. And they're right, they do. I don't think I've ever washed this one yet since I've had it, and I've used it several times. And this one I just used recently, yesterday. This one I've used several times. It's got several layers of paint on there. And this one I used last year, and there's dried paint on there. So is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna soak some of these in just regular dish soap, warm dish soap, and the other in Murphy oil soap, because I heard that's what works really well. But if you soak the acrylic paints in soapy water, I do it with my my jars of water, because paint gets on the side of that, or my my plates. And this one is the one that I use for the journaling by fives, and I did that quite a few days ago, I think. And so I'm going to pop back on here after I soak these in the different things and see how clean they come, because you know what, you want to use your supplies, but I found that they clean up pretty good, but I wanted to do a little test on camera for a quick tip. Okay, I'll be back after they soak and then clean. Oh, hi. I just thought I'd pop back on here to show you how I was soaking it. I turned off the camera, went straight in, and filled these containers up. This one is full of just regular dishwashing soap, that you would wash dishes by hands, like Ivory. And it's already starting to peel off. The light is not so good here, and I'm sorry, but do you see it's peeling off there quite nicely off of the plate. And the stencils may have to soak a little longer, but it's getting tacky, where I can scratch it. See there? So you don't really ruin your stencils by letting the paint dry. I think it's a personal preference. And I don't know if you guys can see in this, the paint's already starting to pop off of the stencils. It's floating in the water. And this is Murphy soap, which is, this is what it looks like. It's like an oily soap that you put in some water. And apparently if you get paint on your clothes, this is a good thing to take it out of your clothes too. But it's meant for cleaning wood. It's wood soap. And it's been around for years. Okay, so I'll let you guys take a peek at it after I'm done getting them clean, to show you that I got them clean. Okay, I'm back, and I got my stencils clean enough that I'm happy with. And if you remember, I had never washed this one. It had several, it's still wet, you know, but it had several layers of paint. This was one of the first stencils that I ever bought. And these I just used real recently. They're still wet. And they're still, you know. But I'm sure, I don't know. I'm not too particular about leaving the paint on there. You know, surely if somebody wants to clean their stencils right away, you know, just set them in some water as you're using them, that, you know, like you would your brushes, and then clean them after you're done doing whatever you're doing. And the only thing that I didn't get all the way clean, now it's still very wet, I used Stays On ink on this one the first time, and it has, you can see it, it has stained, but you know, that's a permanent ink, and it's supposed to be a permanent ink, and I got it down to almost nothing on there. So I'm sure if I soak this longer, you know, I only soak these for a few minutes, and then I start scrubbing them. And then this is the one that I had since the very beginning of journaling Crazy Island style, and I never washed it, and I used black on it, and it came pretty clean. And there's my plate that I use for a palette. I picked that up secondhand someplace, but it's a nice heavy one that doesn't move around. And again, you know, I soaked half of the stencils in Murphy's oil soap, and it worked great. I soaked the other half in Ivory dishwashing liquid, and it worked great. You know, I used a little, I put the stencil down on a flat surface to scrub lightly, because you don't, you know, you don't want to mess up your image. But that's my little tip. I'm sure lots of people know about this, but somebody had made a comment that you know, to take the time to clean the stencils when you know, even if they did dry on there, it's not really a big deal. So I wouldn't hesitate. You know, they're made out of plastic, and you know, they came out clean enough for me anyways. And some of that paint had been on there for years, at least 2 years, if not even a little longer. All right, and you know, to get in the little nooks and crannies, I lightly you know, and it didn't take that long. It really didn't. I don't really care if my stencils are dirty or not. I just like to get the image down. But somebody had made a comment on my Journaling by Fives video about you know, having to stop and clean stencils. And you know, if you got a bucket of water next to you, if you're worried about it, it's not gonna, you know, I go ahead and do it. It's pretty fun. All right, my little tip. I'm gonna make a little tip playlist, I guess, on my YouTube channel. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, you know, I forgot to mention before about, you know, when you're cleaning your stamps, that, you know, after you use the texture, see, there's you know, the paint doesn't clog it, but your texture paint would probably clog these little details here if you're using modeling paste. And I'm just going to demonstrate what I do. This page is going to have texture on it. I have no idea what it's going to be, but you know, you get modeling paste on there that you want to get off there right away. That's going to make a great page with some texture. And you know, if I'm in a real big hurry and I don't, you know, lots of times I'll just throw things in some water so it doesn't stick until I can get to it to clean it off. But you know, you definitely want to clean off the modeling paste or fiber paste, anything like that, and I will use a baby wipe on it, and it works pretty well on there, and it won't, you know, dry on your stencil. Otherwise you'll have modeling paste clogging up your stencil. And you know, these are tools, and you know, that worked out pretty well. You know, it's clean enough, and but you know, if you were going to use several stencils at the same time, I would have a little bucket of water to just kind of stick them into so they don't dry. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.